Welcome in, everyone, to a very spooky edition of On the Sidelines. I'm Seth Hagan, a.k.a. The Warlock. And I have with me here Redneck Negan, a.k.a. Hunter Price.
How we doing today?
And, man, we're doing great, clearly, because we can't let Halloween go. Everybody else got done with Halloween this weekend. Not so here in the ACN studios. We are still rocking it out. We're rocking the.
Isn't Halloween
clearly
today?
We have some awesome colorful hair going on here, and we're just rocking it out with you guys on a Monday night. Glad y'all tuned in. Make sure y'all hit the studio lines. This is your call-in show. Reaction from around the sports world at 1-888-242-8517, and you can hit us up on the Facebook page as well. On the Sidelines is where you need to go on Facebook, and we're killing it right here, and we'll be on Facebook Live here very soon. But let's get it right into it, because there was a lot of action around the state. And Alabama was off in preparation for the Alabama-LSU showdown in Baton Rouge this Saturday, but Auburn had their own showdown on the road in Oxford, Mississippi, and boy, was it entertaining.
It was a fantastic game.
What a great game, right? Back and forth, 11 lead changes. Mm-hmm. I mean, the 8 times that Auburn fell behind, they either got a defensive stop or a touchdown or a field goal to answer. They just would not be denied there in Oxford, and you're seeing it right here. I mean, it was a great game. Cameron Petway was recognized as the Offensive Player of the Week. Daniel Carlson was 4 for 4 on field goals, and he had himself a game as well. The defense pulled it out in the second half, only allowing 7 points in the second half total against Ole Miss. Not really completely surprising. That's who Ole Miss has been the entire year. They were up at halftime, and they fell off, and that's the way it goes.
I was nervous that game.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, I was looking at it, and I was like, you know, there is a chance that Ole Miss could beat Auburn. But I want to see Auburn continue, because I want to see a 9-2 Auburn versus undefeated Alabama.
Yes, and I think that's what we all definitely want to see.
But at the same time, I felt good going to the half, even though Ole Miss was up, because what has Ole Miss done time in and time out in the second half? Nothing.
Falling apart. They've got no depth.
Nothing. Yeah. Chad Kelly was 3 of 9 on 20 yards or deeper in the game?
I believe so.
Sean White.
Not connect.
Listen, Chad Kelly threw for 465 yards. Yeah, 465 yards and 3 TDs.
Wow.
Sean White finished with a higher passer rating than him for the game.
Yeah, how about that? Even with 465 yards, Chad Kelly, a Heisman-like effort, at least in the first half, could not sustain the rain. And at the end of the day, Sean White proves again he is the most efficient quarterback in the league.
He is. But I was so impressed with Ole Miss's game plan in the first half. Their offensive game plan and their play calling, it was out of this world. Mm-hmm. It was. I mean, everything they were doing was just perfect for what Auburn was throwing at them.
And Chad Kelly was putting it on the money, man. He was gunslinging, and it was quite an effort to withstand. But Auburn got the job done, and now that really puts them on a collision course to meet up with Alabama for the SEC West title.
It really does, and hopefully it will happen. I don't know if Alabama gets past LSU this week, though. I hope they do. But I thought it was interesting. Chad Kelly, 465 yards of offense.
Right.
Auburn is 8-0 when opposing quarterback throws for 400-plus yards. They're undefeated.
Doesn't even make sense.
Makes no sense.
I mean, we're talking about, I think Greg McElroy is one of them. A.J. McCarron is another one. That's quite interesting.
Isn't it?
I mean, you'd think it'd be sub 500, but undefeated. Who knew? I mean, I think cows would fly or pigs would fly, and not just with awesome green hair.
Cameron Petway is getting better and better each week.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Like
170
almost has over 1,000 yards.
Almost 1,000 yards in 5 games.
Yeah. I mean,
he's averaging.
Don't forget that very key stat.
He's averaging 156 yards rushing against SEC opponents. Against Mississippi State, 172, Arkansas, 190, and then Saturday night against Ole Miss. He had 236 rushing yards on 30 carries. 30 carries for a 7.9-yard average and a TD.
All right, now check this out. It sets up the two leaders in the SEC in rushing next week in Vanderbilt's Ralph Webb and Auburn's Cameron Petway. Who would have thought that was going to happen in the first matchup of November? How amazing
it really is
that? I mean, that's crazy. Boom Williams bringing up third, Raleigh Williams, and then Travion Williams, who really has fallen off here in the last few weeks. I mean, they have not had they've not been able to get him the ball and be effective. Even playing against New Mexico State, he really didn't play that much. Now,
he's a freshman. That's going to happen.
Yeah,
you can't expect a freshman to just ball out every single game.
You can't. Now, Carl Lawson had an 8th sack, which would have been good to lead the conference. However, Derek Barnett continues to harass the entire league. He now has 9 sacks on the year and a clear lead in the SEC. But
I got 2 things I want to talk about later in the show. One, is it time to start talking about Heisman for Cameron Petway? And I know that's far. I know that's far off.
Yeah, you need a few more.
Auburn needs to be going into the Iron Bowl. They could lose the Iron Bowl and he still have a chance, but Auburn needs to be into the Iron Bowl 9-2.
Oh yeah, you cannot lose again.
You look at what Cameron Petway's doing right now. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about 1, is he a possible Heisman contender? 2, who is better, Derrick Henry or Cameron Petway? Because I think that's interesting.
It's an interesting one, and make sure y'all hit up the lines. The number's right there at the bottom of your screen.
And 3, I had a third. What was it? Oh, SEC defensive ends. Has there been a year with more SEC defensive ends
that are going to go to the NFL and rip it up?
Better defensive ends. I can't remember a year where defensive ends and tackles have been more stacked in the SEC than this year.
It really is incredible. I mean, you're talking about Arden Key,
He's
Derek
only
Barnett. Only a sophomore. Tim Williams is a monster, even though he's technically a linebacker. We talked about Carl Lawson. You have to throw in Myles Garrett in there, even though he has kind of fallen off the map. Deshaun Hall is another prominent defensive end. You're right. It really is an amazing renaissance for defensive linemen in this league. I mean, lots of sacks being handed out. And I think as a result, you can see the passing yards kind of falling off.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Kelly, really the only one who is truly ripping it up. Drew Lock has been put under lock and chain, if you will. Austin Allen has been severely limited. Trevor Knight, it seems, has slowed his huge pace because I think he had 1,500 yards.
He was at a huge pace, but he was also only completing like 57% of his passes.
And that's going to kill him.
Well, the thing about Trevor Knight is A&M was just running the perfect, and they still are, the perfect offense for Trevor Knight.
Yeah.
He's not a sit in the pocket and throw the ball. They were getting him out of the pocket. He was running the ball. The running game was going, and it still is. I mean, it was New Mexico State they played after Alabama. They were beat up, and look what I'm saying. A&M's offense was a horrible matchup for what they had to face in Alabama.
It always seems to be, right?
It just fit right in with what Alabama wanted. I didn't like that matchup when it came to offense.
Yeah.
You got to have someone that can consistently have a deep threat, I feel like, to beat Alabama. Slow that pass rush down a little bit.
Yeah, the shine got kind of taken off Alabama's run through October, didn't it? A&M didn't step up. Tennessee turned into what we've kind of known for them to be the last couple of weeks, and it just didn't seem that great. However, the shine has been replaced back on November. LSU playing so much better. Auburn, a completely different team than the one that faced Clemson that very first weekend of college football. Really, really incredible. And it's something that doesn't tell you about the decline in passing in the SEC. This will. Josh Dobbs is 5th in passing yards in the league. No way that should even be possible. But somehow he is top 5.
How many interceptions does he have?
Probably a lot.
Let's find that out.
He's not very good. By the way, y'all, for those of you who are tuning in next week, if you took our ranking seriously, another big upset was predicted by our analytic power rankings. South Carolina taking down Tennessee at home. Huge win. Will Muschamp now 3-0 against Butch Jones. So Coach Boone kind of has your number there, Butch. And I'm not quite sure that Butchie will make it out of this year now. I mean, if they just nosedive, they'll get him out of there quick. I'm telling you what.
I don't think they should, though.
You don't think so?
I
think he's blowing it.
I feel like he's lost control of this team a lot like Chiswick did in 2012.
And the injuries are huge.
But the injuries are huge. And when the injuries started building up, they had so much hype that, I mean, in a way was deserved, but it wasn't. A lot of it was based off a really easy schedule for them.
And a lot of returning starters.
Yeah, and then the injuries kicked in, and then you just see no leadership. Where's the leadership on the team? Yeah. Josh Dobbs is not the leader.
And that's unbelievable. He's been to SEC Media Days now twice in a row. That's where you put your leaders. You put your leaders in SEC Media Days. If this kid can't figure it out, then no wonder guys like Jalen Hurd are leaving.
Yeah, and you talk about Josh Dobbs being fifth in the SEC in passing. Well, guess what? He also leads the SEC with 11 interceptions.
So they're really leaning on him to get things done. Hurd, season's obviously not going the way that he wanted to. Alvin Kamara had that one massive game against Texas A&M, but since then has been relatively quiet. So, I mean, what is to come of Tennessee? I mean,
Jalen Hurd now transferring out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Came out today.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Is he going to finish the season? That's what I want to know.
Hurd, how can you do it now? I mean, the cat's out of the bag.
I don't know how you do. I don't know how you allow them to.
Your teammates are done with you.
You had a defense.
Coach pretty much should be done with you.
You had a defensive back walk off the field against South Carolina after getting a fight, left the game, just walked out of Bryce Williams, said, "I'm done."
That team's out of control, man. It's so.
And I kind of feel like, yeah, you got to get rid of Butch Jones, but at the same time, you can't keep having this turnover, and this is why Tennessee can't get back on top.
Yep, and that's his league-leading 11th interception right there that you guys are watching.
Against the second-ranked pass defense in the SEC in South Carolina. And the numbers had South Carolina winning. A lot of people laughed about that.
Yeah, he certainly did.
I didn't. Numbers had Missouri beating Kentucky. Kentucky won. I thought Kentucky would win. I don't know what the numbers are seeing in Missouri. I don't know why they keep ranking where they're ranking.
They're seeing that pass offense.
It's the offense.
It's the pass offense, and that's it.
It's the offense.
It's holding them up somehow, holding them above water.
Yeah.
But Missouri, I think we can safely say now is the worst team in the conference. Mississippi State, really close, giving up 41 to Samford.
Samford's a good football team.
I don't care. 41 points. You lose to South Alabama and you give up 41 to Samford.
That is pretty bad.
And 35 to Auburn in the first half. I mean, you are a miserable school, Mississippi State. I do not envy you at all. But hey, baseball season's only 6 months away. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to diagnose the rest of the SEC and the top 25. So everybody, stick around. More spookiness to follow. Stick around.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
This is Tyler Herron at Carl Cannon Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, and GMC. Did you see behind me, I got one of our Z71 Chevrolet Silverados. We have many like it. This is actually a Tuscany truck. It has a lift kit and the aftermarket wheels and tires. We are a Tuscany dealer. Come down and see us in Jasper, Alabama, and Carl Cannon Boulevard off exit 65, or you can give us a call at 205-384-5561.
Other dealers can't? Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Every day, students at Bevel State Community College tell their own stories. They tell them through the accomplishments they achieve, the choices they make for career success, and through recommendations they share with friends. With 5 locations serving 7 counties and tuition lower than other colleges, now is the time to start writing your own success story. Your story starts at Bevel State.
Ready to Work Trucks in Summerton is just that. The place to go from anywhere in the country to find good used trucks for any need. Brian and Robert Harlan and their staff will assist you with financing and delivery. Brian is a 3-time National Truck Salesman of the Year and a 5-time Kenworth Walk-Around Champion with 30 years experience. Ready to Work Trucks, more than just a slogan, a business guarantee.
When you buy a truck from Ready to Work Trucks, everything works. All lights, all gauges, all switches, brakes are good. You can go anywhere in the country or on the internet and you can buy you a used truck and it's ready for you to go home and work on it. Or you can come to Ready to Work Trucks where everything on our trucks work. And the horn blows, the brakes work, the tires are good, the kingpins are good. Hey, come visit us on Old 78 Highway in Summerton, Alabama, small town, big business. Come see us. We'll see that Ready to Work Trucks is more than our slogan, it's our business guarantee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Halloween edition of On the Sidelines. I am Seth Hagan. Alongside with me is Hunter Price, a.k.a. Kenny Powers Jr.
Kenny Price.
Kenny Price. I like that even more.
That's
I love
Foster.
it.
I got to give Foster props for that one.
Oh, he nailed it. All right, so thanks for everybody for joining us. Make sure you hit the phone lines, 1-888-242-8517 to get here live in the studio with us. Just talking about college football and everything from around the sports world, so make sure you hit us up. Right now, the NBA season has started up, and maybe that's somebody to
We got to
call
call
in
it.
and talk about
I think
it
that's
now.
Bama Brent.
Could it be? Could it be?
Bama Brent, is that you?
Bama
Brent.
Brent, what is good with you, man?
Man, Monday, watching On the Sidelines.
Yeah.
Life couldn't be better.
Pretty boring weekend overall for you guys, though, right? I mean, you just had to grin and bear it, watch everybody else.
No, it's all right. We won.
We did. You did win.
You did win. You did win.
And by that, we mean you did not lose.
Thank you.
I heard a little rumor through the media. Did a one Bama Brent get an eagle this weekend?
That's right. That's right.
How does that feel?
Ooh, man.
29-yard shot. And
39-yard shot? That's like a putt.
But
yeah,
he sunk it.
basically. But man, I'll tell you what.
What? How many? What was it? Par 4? 5?
Par 5.
Par 5?
Yeah, just lay up, and third shot went straight in the hole.
Is that your first eagle?
Unbelievable. Oh no, that was my first eagle from probably over 50 yards away.
I got my first birdie about 6 months ago playing the par 3 course,
Yeah.
playing the greens on the
Man.
par 3 course. So it was about a
It's
50-yard
it's
shot
pretty
from
good.
tee.
I've had a couple eagles for to putt for eagle, but man, that's a whole different ball game. Especially when you can't see the shot go in. Then
So
you
it was
walk home like, where the hell's my ball?
So it was a 39-yard putt.
Hole. Oh, hey man, when those sink, it's like a roller coaster. It's unbelievable. Hey guys, hold on just a second.
All right, okay. We'll hold on.
Oh, any more candy? I don't care if you know Lane Kiffin. I know he's your boyfriend. I don't care. You're coming over here.
Have you gotten yourself in a little drama down in T-Town, Bama Brent?
No, man, they're coming from all over the place. I mean, they just want candy, and I tell them, I know you know Lane Kiffin. I don't care. I don't have any more candy.
He's being overrun.
What's been the biggest candy of choice
17-year-old
tonight?
girls wanting candy and trick-or-treating. It's just crazy.
It's a problem, man. Pretty much all the adults got done with Halloween over the weekend. Well, sorry, adults, you now have to take your kids everywhere and walk around with them and be good parents so you're not deadbeats.
What's the best costume you've seen tonight?
Say it again?
What's the best costume you've seen tonight?
Oh man, that's great. What did I see? Oh, I saw somebody that was dressed up like Ace Ventura when
No
he
way.
wore that the Hawaiian shirt with a pink tutu and boots. Had all
User.
messed up hair, looked like he was in a insane asylum. Never saw.
User.
Loser.
Oh, I love it. That's Jim Carrey. Doesn't
Yeah.
get much
guys,
better than that.
Getting back to it, I'll cut it short.
Uh-huh.
This game coming up is going to be unbelievable. I'm really nervous about Leonard Fournette. He's kind of a madhouse right now. But hey, if we can just keep what we did last year and hold him under, I mean, we basically tore his Heisman away from him. in that game.
Yeah, you got to make Danny Etling beat you at the very worst. You just got to hope that he can't.
Well, I think last year you looked at it, Alabama was able to stack the box when they didn't even have to against LSU. And that hurt Fournette. So, I mean, who is going to get yards when Bama can stack the box because you can't throw the ball?
Nobody.
This year, they're a little more open ever since Orgeron's taken over and Steve Ensminger is now the quarterback coach. I mean, the quarterbacks and offensive coordinator. He was the tight ends coach before the move.
I mean, they're a completely different team.
You can't stack the box against them now because they are going to take you deep. And Etling does have a good enough arm. But it's going to be a defensive game, I think. I think it's going to be just like the game in Ascension.
Doubt. Oh, gosh.
I think this is going to be a defensive 14-13.
Yeah, and this one I think will really cement Jalen Hurts. Is he really all that he's billed to be, or will the LSU secondary finally?
Jalen Hurts has had some moments where he hasn't played great this year. The thing is everybody else around him is so good. He is being used by Bama just like the Cowboys using Dak Prescott. Listen, you don't have to be the leader. You got all the talent around you. Let's just fill in and do your job.
Yeah, and distribute.
Mm-hmm.
Be the distributor.
That's it.
All right, cool. Well, Bama Brent, appreciate you calling, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank y'all. Hey, roll tide. I'm saying 34-3 Bama.
34-3. You just said you agreed with me.
LSU don't even have a chance. All right, Brent, man, take care.
See you later, buddy.
All right, roll tide. Bye.
All right, 34-3. I think he's been talking with our boy Magnolia Bob a little bit, because that's exactly how Magnolia Bob would have the game.
No, he would have it 52-3.
52-3.
52-3.
52-3.
52-3.
Probably. All right.
By the way, where's BJ?
Where is BJ?
I think we had a bet with BJ, didn't we?
I think so. We did.
Are
BJ,
we
you
gonna hear back
better
from
call
him?
those. Better call the phone lines. We know you. We know
You
you're
better
watching.
call
BJ.
them phone line, BJ.
All right.
888-242-8517. If you can't see it on Facebook Live, 888-242-8587. Call them up, just like Bama Brent did.
We'll be checking those comments. We'll be checking them throughout the show. See some guys already checking in there. But let's go around the country because there were a lot of good games.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan did not cover against Michigan State.
I didn't think they would. I was surprised by that.
I didn't think they would either. Mark D'Antonio is not going to let you do that to him. He's not going to get embarrassed.
And we got more callers coming in. Who we got?
All right. Who we got? Caller, you're live.
HP, Hagen, what up?
Is this the one and only Frosty?
What up, guys?
How are we doing?
Frosty McWraps.
Just enjoying my Monday night, man. Watching a little on the sidelines, actually.
Yeah. It's a good place to be.
Watching NBA, man.
Yeah.
So, what'd you say?
Wanted to open the can of worms with the NBA, man. Y'all started to talk about it, but
yeah.
It was a tease. It was
and then we got that
teaser.
call. So let's do it, man. I know you're a Timberwolves fan. Y'all have had two really, really close losses to start the year, but like Hunter had mentioned earlier, Ricky Rubio is not around, so the team is not completely 100% go right now, and so things may change. But you want to talk some NBA? Let's talk about one Russell Westbrook, who has put up production in these first three games, all wins by the way, that no one has ever seen in the history of the league. Over 100 points, 30 rebounds, 30 assists through his first three games, already 2 triple-doubles, already the most points ever in a game for a guy who also had a triple-double, 51 points by the way. Just absolutely ridiculous. The production that's been going on. Do you think that the Thunder have any shot in the West? I mean, I feel like they do.
No.
They're proving it.
No.
I mean, the thing is about the Thunder is I'm not going to say addition by subtraction, but there was obviously chemistry issues with Kevin Durant and Westbrook. Westbrook is an alpha dog. Durant showed by going to the Warriors he's not an alpha dog. We tried to peg him as such, but that's not who he is, and he showed that. It's one of those things. I wish now I'd put some money on Westbrook for MVP because barring injury and assuming if they win 50 games, the guy locks it up because he's going to put up outrageous numbers all year long. Steven Adams, I feel like, is going to only get better. Victor Oladipo, is an elite wing defender, can score a little bit. You know, I don't think they have a chance in the West to win. I think the Warriors will figure it out by midseason. But certainly, Western Conference Final. I mean, how awesome would Warriors Thunder be in the Western Conference?
Man,
that would be
it
huge.
would be the perfect NBA scenario.
Other than Warriors Timberwolves, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not thinking that.
Right.
You know, I like the Timberwolves though. I mean, they're slowly getting better every year and building this program the way it should be built.
They're built
in
for
the NBA.
success.
And I mean, Rubio. How long is Rubio out for? Have you heard?
I haven't heard. I mean, you know, the issue with Rubio is that it's kind of one of those things that happens every year. I mean, he's very injury prone, and you know, a lot of the pundits and the experts were trying to say, oh well, you know, immediately trade Rubio. Chris Dunn is the answer. Chris Dunn can't run an NBA offense, and until
Not yet, but I think he will be able
I'd
to.
even take Tyus Jones over him. I mean, Dunn has shown the elite athleticism. He's had a solid start to a season. He can really defend the ball. The problem with the Wolves is that, you know, I love Andrew Wiggins. I'm actually probably a little higher on Zach LaVine, and if you watch the first two games, LaVine is special, and I mean, I really think he has a chance to be a superstar. His jump shot's unguardable. His athleticism is unparalleled.
Has his jump shot gotten better?
Can't finish games, and when you're, you know, the first game of the season, Vince Carter's guarding Andrew Wiggins, and you have Vince Carter's 39 years old, but that's 20 years of experience. I mean, Vince Carter was in the league before Andrew Wiggins was born, practically. I mean, Andrew Wiggins was like 2 years old when Vince Carter was a rookie. So you can't replace that experience, and they've just got to learn how to close out games. The talent is all there.
No, they're young, and you can see the talent for sure.
Yep. Whoever's calling, make sure y'all hold on. We got somebody on the phone. We won't get to you, but we're talking NBA right now.
Frosty, I ask you, you know, last year, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Last year, I was the one that I was off the Andrew Wiggins bandwagon. You know, everybody was still liking him. I'm like, they need to trade him. He's an all right player, but they need to trade him, build around Karl Anthony Towns. You did not like what I said. You really disagreed with me. We got into it. Now you're off the Andrew Wiggins bandwagon.
No.
I just got to call you out on it a little bit.
No, I'm not off the bandwagon. Wiggins is a star. Don't get me wrong. He is a star in the league. He's going to be a fantastic player from here on out. The issue right now is he is trying to be the alpha dog. He's trying to close out games.
That's not Andrew Wiggins, though, and he needs to realize
But
that.
it is Andrew Wiggins. I'm a league pass man. I watch tons of Timberwolves basketball and NBA basketball in general. He can be that guy. I mean, you're not going to get there right now. Their core is 21-year-old kids, LaVine, Wiggins, and Towns. Towns, if anybody, has been a disappointment. Wiggins is averaging 25-plus in the first two games. LaVine's averaging 20. Wiggins is averaging about 4 rebounds a game. That's not going to get it done, especially when you're being compared to Anthony Davis as, you know, one of 2 top building blocks in the league.
Well, I mean, you got right. He's young. He's young. But Foster, we got to cut the break. Thanks for calling us, man. Hopefully you can call us next week. We'll continue this.
Definitely will do, guys. Enjoying the show.
Have a good one.
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you, too.
All right, everybody. Hold on for 1 second. We'll be right back with more on the sidelines next.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
Here at Carl Cannon Chevrolet, we offer a wide variety that we have here. We offer them that can be dinghy-towed, flat-towed, and we also have vehicles that can tow between 3,500 pounds all the way to 17,500 pounds. So if you need a vehicle that can just take you to church on Sundays or pull the load on Mondays, we've got them all right here for you at Carl Cannon. Been here for 50 years. Come see us in Jasper.
Other dealers can't, Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Every day, students at Bevel State Community College tell their own stories. They tell them through the accomplishments they achieve, the choices they make for career success, and through recommendations they share with friends. With 5 locations serving 7 counties and tuition lower than 4-year colleges, now is the time to start writing your own success story. Your story starts at Bevel State.
From Mobile to Florence, from Auburn to Tuscaloosa, for all your commercial or private paving needs, is Alabama's premier surfacing company. 20 years experience has the equipment and personnel to handle any job anywhere in the state of Alabama. Call 205-648-3117.
Hey everybody, welcome back to On the Sidelines, Halloween special right here. And we were talking college football, basketball, pro basketball as well. We just got done talking with our good friend Frosty. And right now we also we have another caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and what do you want to talk about?
My name is Matthew. I'd like to talk about LSU Bama.
Oh yeah, it's the matchup of the weekend in the SEC. For sure going to be the CBS game of the week. So what are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm sure of. Traditionally in the past 5-6 years, we've seen, just front fours running down the middle, LSU Bama.
Right.
My question is, when you Lane Kiffin's new offense spread out, how does that affect the game?
What was your question again?
How does the spread affect the game?
Has the spread affect the game? In what way?
For Alabama, I believe.
I think it's affected it for the better. They're still their traditional base pro style, I feel like, but Kiffin has been able to put players in space.
And you can't ignore all those weapons in the wide receiver corps. You got to use them.
No, you can't, but I wouldn't call Bama a spread offense, though, would you?
Just a little bit, but I think it's really only because of Jalen Hurts and his dual threat ability.
That a spread offense?
I mean, just when you look at, yeah, I guess it is a spread offense. When you look at when the spread offense came about and you look at what Alabama's doing, it's the same thing. But look at what we call spread teams now in college football.
Right. They're not exactly air attack.
And then put that next to Bama. They're not exactly this air attack spread. Yeah, they're going 3-4 wide receiver spread. But
that's right, yeah.
It's still downhill running football at the same time.
Yep.
So what? I've noticed. We've all seen it. Attacking the edges. I like it. I'm a fan of it. I just feel like we're going to see a different type of ball game when it comes to Bama versus LSU that we've seen in the past.
For sure. So what do you think happens this weekend? Does Bama continue to dominate this matchup, or do the Tigers have a shot at home?
Coming from a Bama fan, I really don't know. This matchup really does scare me.
Yeah.
But they absolutely had the talent, to.
Yeah.
It's a really scary matchup because you have Arden Key on the defensive line.
And you don't know what you're going to get from this LSU offense anymore. I mean, they've really turned a corner.
They have, but it's this defense. I really think this is going to be like the game of the century, just a really tight defensive game.
Yep.
It's going to. I feel like it's who protects the ball in the end. The way LSU has gotten better. This is a scary match. They match up well with Alabama, and this is a scary matchup with their safety. What's his name? It just skipped my mind.
For LSU, Tre'Davious White.
No, that's the corner.
He's one of them.
It doesn't matter. He's one of the top. He's
fantastic.
9 best NFL draft prospects in the country at safety. That's not even counting Tre'Davious White, who's the top corner in the SEC probably right now by NFL draft standards. And then Arden Key on the end. This is a scary game. I almost want to. It's kind of like how can I pick against Alabama? But at the same time, I kind of feel like LSU is going to win this because Alabama always loses one game a year.
Yeah.
Well, they're rooting around Ed, and that's their new coach, and I feel like they have nothing to lose. They already got 2 losses. It's a scary game for Bama, and also they got to go to their stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Matt, man, our phone line's really lighting up. Call back next week. We're gonna find out what happens. Thanks for calling, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Carla, you're on live with On the Sidelines. What you got?
Yeah, this is Chuck from Jefferson County.
How you doing?
How's it going, Chet?
Well, I wanted to ask a hypothetical question.
Uh-huh.
Alabama beats LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way Alabama can come back? LSU and Alabama could beat up for the Southeastern Conference Championship.
Is there any way that LSU and Alabama can meet up for the Southeastern Conference Championship?
Or in the playoff?
If LSU
Or in the playoff?
you lose, huh?
You talking about the playoff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It would be very, very difficult at this point because they've already lost to Wisconsin,
And Auburn.
so the Big Ten champion is going to get in over them automatically. It would take, I think, Washington completely falling off.
What it would take for it to happen is they beat Alabama this weekend, win out, a 2-loss SEC champion will go to the playoffs, and how are you going to leave out a 1-loss Alabama who lost on the road at LSU, who was the SEC champion?
Yeah, and you also
So
have to. Auburn's going to have to lose to Alabama, and LSU has to beat Texas A&M. So there is a scenario, but it's kind of rocky. But it's possible, man.
Well, no. Yeah, if LSU wins out, they'd have 1 loss. They'll be over Alabama. Yeah, LSU would beat Alabama. 1 out, 2-loss SEC champion would go. Alabama
With
you
an
can't
Auburn
leave them
loss,
out.
yes.
Yep.
So there it is, Chet. What do you think the final score is going to be this weekend?
I really don't know.
We don't either,
You
man.
know, it's such a, LSU has got a lot to gain in this thing because they've got to prove. It's just got a lot. They've got a lot to win if this, and they are playing in Death Valley.
Yeah, and that's a place that Bama has really won at a lot.
They're
so
playing with
they're
another-
trying to throw that
yeah.
backwards as well.
They're playing with LSU's just playing with another type of energy right now.
man.
And am I crazy? I've been saying it for a while now. Ed Orgeron, I really feel like needs to be the head coach at LSU.
Even with a loss to Alabama?
Well, I just feel like, there's a lot of coaches that they just might be average coaches at your normal job.
Mm-hmm.
But if they get that perfect fit, it's just that perfect fit.
Yeah.
And Orgeron just seems like the guy he lets his offensive and defensive coordinators and his coaches coach. He knows the area. As a head coach, you got to handle recruiting, you got to handle money, you got to handle boosters. There's so much more outside of football. That's where Ed Orgeron fits in perfect. He's a perfect fit for LSU, and just let his OCs and DCs do their job. The talent's going to come in. They'll build a fence around Louisiana. LSU would not go anywhere with Ed Orgeron. And what better way than to move on from the ghost of Saban than with Orgeron?
Let me ask you one other quick question.
Yep.
What's your chance? What do you think about Jimbo Fisher finally going to LSU? You think that's a possibility?
With every game that he loses at Florida State, it becomes more and more likely. I'll say that.
I think it's a possibility. I just don't. Would Jimbo Fisher want that job, though? See, I don't know. I mean,
it's a great job at Florida State, and I think that is the biggest factor. It's like, why is it so much better? I mean, it's so much more difficult to win going to LSU. Whereas if you're at Florida State, you used to just have to get by Clemson, but now you got to deal with Louisville too. But that's still better than having to deal with Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss on an off year.
You want to look
when
at
Dan Mullen rebuilds this Mississippi State team because he will.
Well, look at recruiting. He'll be easier at LSU. At LSU, he'd have Louisiana. He'd be able to go into Texas. He goes into South Alabama. He has that. At Florida State, he's fighting Florida, Miami, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, everybody for that Florida Panhandle.
Mm-hmm. Just about everybody's jumped in.
You know who I kind of like? And call me crazy. I don't know why people haven't talked about him. Joey Jones. When's he going to get to step up? I mean, look at what he has done.
Two upsets, one against Mississippi State and another against a ranked San Diego State team, and shut down one of the most productive running back in the country.
That's my dark horse, Joey Jones. I mean, it'll never happen, but I think he'd be a great fit at LSU, especially being in South Alabama.
I think he'll move up to like a Power 5 job, and then we may see him in the SEC.
Exactly. Chuck, thanks for calling in, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Have a good one.
All right, take care.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, if you want to join the show just like Chet did, 888-242-8517, the number to call. We've got like one more minute, so I'll kind of preview what we're going to do next. We're just going to look at Week 10 matchups. Yes, that's right. I said Week 10 matchups. It pains me to say that, but You know, time goes on. And we're also going to touch a little bit on Chicago and Cleveland. The World Series is on. It is a series. Chicago jumped right back into it, closed that margin 3-2, and that's going to be a tough game as well. But we'll take a look at next week's games, including that all-important SEC matchup.
Coming up at the break, we maybe have a special guest.
Oh, really?
Someone who lives in the Amazon and travels.
Is he scary?
No, not really.
Oh.
I mean, that is a little bit. He's a little scary. But lives in the Amazon and travels by boat on the Amazon River.
Epic.
We'll find out.
All right, all that and more next, everybody. Stick around.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Carl Cannon Buick Cadillac GMC Chevrolet. My name is Joshua Salter, and would love to take this opportunity to show you the new 2016 Cadillac SRX. We've got some great promotions going on right now. Would love to help you get into a new car today. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 384-5561 or on my cell at 205-300-8364. Stop out and see us.
Other dealers can't? Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Every day, students at Bevel State Community College tell their own stories. They tell them through the accomplishments they achieve, the choices they make for career success, and through recommendations they share with friends. With 5 locations serving 7 counties and tuition lower than 4-year colleges, now is the time to start writing your own success story. Your story starts at Bevel State.
Ready to Work Trucks in Summerton is just that. The place to go from anywhere in the country to find good used trucks for any need. Brian and Robert Harlan and their staff will assist you with financing and delivery. Brian is a 3-time National Truck Salesman of the Year and a 5-time Kenworth Walk-Around Champion with 30 years experience. Ready to Work Trucks, more than just a slogan, a business guarantee.
When you buy a truck from Ready to Work Trucks, everything works. All lights, all gauges, all switches, brakes are good. You can go anywhere in the country or on the internet and you can buy you a used truck and it's ready for you to go home and work on it. Or you can come to Ready to Work Trucks, where everything on our trucks work. And the horn blows, the brakes work, the tires are good, the kingpins are good. Hey, come visit us on Old 78 Highway in Summerton, Alabama, small town, big business. Come see us. We'll see that Ready to Work Trucks is more than our slogan, it's our business guarantee.
Hey everybody, welcome back to On the Sidelines. I am Seth Hagen, aka the Wicked Witch of the West, alongside Kenny Price Jr., the coach, Hunter Price. Welcome back everybody. We've got a phone call on the line, and they want to talk a little Ohio State. Now, Ohio State's got a big game this weekend. They're playing another fellow one-loss team in the Big Ten, that is Nebraska. They just got taken down by Wisconsin. Ohio State beat Wisconsin just a few weeks ago, but this is already basically a playoff elimination game in the Big Ten. Whoever loses this game, safe to say their chances are no good. Caller, talk to us about Ohio State and plead your case. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they win this game and they beat Michigan, it's all good, but how do you feel about your team's chances?
Well, I think they got a pretty good chance. I mean, we were disappointed that they lost to an unranked team, but, you know, everybody has their ups and downs, and we'd like to believe that was their down, and then they're going to be on the upswing from here on out. So.
Yeah. I mean, Penn State is not a bad team necessarily to lose to. They, I believe, they hung 62 on Purdue on Saturday.
No, Penn State's not a bad team.
Penn State's not a bad team.
I did not like.
And you lost in Happy Valley as well.
I did not like that matchup when I was looking at it with Ohio State going Penn State. I felt like Penn State had the chance to pull the upset. It just felt weird the whole time, the whole week.
People wanted to jump on them because Michigan beat them so badly, but.
This is actually Coach Gerald, who coached me up at Word of Life Bible Institute when I played basketball. And I got to ask Coach, looking at one, we'll move to Word of Life here in a second, but Ohio State, their offense has just been off, and Braxton Miller, was it 20-something straight games, he had scored a touchdown, didn't score one against Northwestern. What's off with Ohio State right now that you see? Because it just seems like something's not working.
Well, I don't know what it is, but you're right. They have been off. They need to figure it out pretty quick, or like you said, they're going to be eliminated here from the playoffs. And but the big games coming up, the big Michigan Ohio State, that'd be equivalent obviously to the coming up the Alabama Auburn, but equivalent to the rivalry here in the South. So that's our really big game as far as the rivalry goes. But hopefully they don't knock themselves out of the playoffs before they even get to the big game.
I don't see them doing that. I mean, Nebraska's a good team, but Ohio State, if they show up and do their job, should beat Nebraska this coming up weekend. I like Nebraska. They're much improved. I love that hire of God. Why am I forgetting these guys' names? The guy at Nebraska now. He came from Oregon State.
Dude, I don't know either.
You should know him. He played at Alabama.
I mean, it's incredible. Bo Pelino is sitting there like, what did I do wrong? Well, I was so close so many times, so many 9-win seasons, and
how did you go off on Bo Pelini?
Because he's the Nebraska coach. How does
not
Nebraska?
Anymore. No, he's not.
Well, I'm saying he was. Like, 4 years in a row, he gets 9 wins, and then all of a sudden this guy comes in and he's going undefeated the first few games.
Because he's a great
Definitely
coach.
going to get 10 wins.
He almost got the Alabama job over Saban.
Really?
Yes.
Now that's
I can't believe I can't remember his name. It's blowing my mind. But Coach Darrell, you are now living in the Amazon, Brazil. Am I correct?
Ooh. Yes, sir.
Tell me, what are you doing down there, and what is that like? What is life like down there?
Well, it's definitely quite an adventure. We live on a houseboat on the Amazon River, and we basically minister out to very remote, unreached communities. There's over 33,000 river communities, and 30,000 of those, over 30,000 of them, are unevangelized. So we live on a boat and go out and minister to them on a weekly basis.
How long do you stay on the boat? Like the entire time you're in Brazil, or do you have somewhere you live and then you go out for like a week onto the boat and come back?
Yeah, we have a base camp where we have a house, or it's really an apartment where another missionary couple lives on the other half. So when we're not on the river, we stay there. But then we'll spend anywhere from a week to 2 or 3 at a time, or even an entire month. This past July, we had camp out on the river. So the first week was camp. Second week was a survival course, because we had the Bible Institute students from Belém joining us to help us run camp. So we take them out, and we do a week of survival. We all head out into the Amazon jungle with nothing more than a little bit of rice and some salt, and then everything that we eat, we either have to hunt, fish, gather, or get it somehow. So that actually helps all of us have a better appreciation for how the Indians live. And then the third week is a week where everybody kind of lives in the communities with the Indians, and then a fourth week of camp. So that month we're out the entire month, but generally it's anywhere from a week to 2 or 3 at a time. If we have a healthcare team coming from the U.S. or a work team, those are only the week-long trips because of people have limited vacation. So those are our shorter trips, and we have short-term mission teams down with us.
Man.
How long?
You talk about scary. I mean, we're on Halloween, but I mean, going down the Amazon, not knowing what's going to jump up out of there, like that's true terror. There ain't no other, like, this ain't no haunted house. This is real.
Is that really how it is, or what was your idea of what you were getting into to what it is now? If that makes sense.
We had been taking mission teams down for many years, so we kind of had an idea of what we were getting into. But it's different from living there on a full-time basis than just going down for a week or 2 at a time every year.
Sure.
But it has definitely been quite the adventure, to say the least. Most people are surprised that when you talk about the river monsters, the catfish, the piranha, and the alligators, that catfish are one of the most dangerous fish. They take more lives on the Amazon River than the piranha and the alligator put together, because
I didn't even
the
know
gigantic catfish that live in the whitewater, and so 500,000-800,000 pound fish that our major predators. It's kind of like a modern day Jonah story, except you don't get spit back out type of thing.
I'm no longer swimming. I'm no longer
Look
swimming
like
in a
this guy
lake. I'm no longer
coming
swimming in
out.
a lake ever again. Have you ever had any just like frightening moments with any animals or just any villages that you've come across?
Well, we had every year we try to do in September. We try to do a fishing mission. We do work teams, healthcare teams. We have teams from the U.S. coming down. But another unique trip that we do is our fishing mission, where in September we bring guys down that are interested in fishing. We fish for peacock bass, and then we take those fish that we catch, distribute them back to the village people for food. And a couple years ago, we had a team that was out, and they had been hunting that night. And there was a black panther that also was hunting the same animal that they had just shot. So he was up on shore, and of course, the folks grabbed that animal and pulled it in the boat before the panther got to it. So that was kind of a nerve-wracking experience. And then there's been times where we've, wrestled gator or the smaller little, meter and a half gators. We'll just sneak up behind them in an aluminum boat and just grab them right out of the water on their backside. So that's pretty adventurous. It's very similar to the swamp people, except, we do a little bit different approach than what you see on television here.
Yeah, so I mean, if I get it right, you've pretty much gone full circle in lifestyles. You're from Ohio, lived there for a while, then lived up in upstate New York in the cold, up near Canada, and now you're living the Cajun life in the Amazon.
That'll do it.
Yes, sir.
That'll do it. Well, guys, it was great talking to you. Thanks for coming on, Coach Darrell. I really enjoyed it. Me and many of my basketball players should be at the house tomorrow night to see y'all.
All righty.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on.
Yep. Thanks for calling, y'all. All right. If y'all want to get on the phone just like they did, 1-888-242-8517. We still have a few more minutes. We're going to go over Week 10's major matchups. So let's start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. UCLA, Colorado. UCLA, much like Ole Miss, almost exactly like Ole Miss, came in with a lot of hype, a great quarterback, but it takes a little bit more than that. UCLA, a 13-point dog at Colorado. I'm thinking the Buffaloes are going to roll.
They might not cover that, but Colorado wins. It's at Colorado.
6-2 now, 4-1 in the Pac-12.
No, one of the most improved teams in the country last year, and they've slowly and quietly gotten better and better. And I like Colorado in this game. I don't know if it's a 13.5, but Colorado wins.
All right, that's a Thursday night special. Y'all can check that out, 8 o'clock Central Time. All right, Vanderbilt, Auburn. On paper, doesn't seem like a very good game, but Vanderbilt has got a very nasty defense. I expect them to play well, knowing that going into the Auburn game, you know that Auburn is going to be holding Vanderbilt's awful offense to maybe very possibly single digits in this game. So what does Vanderbilt have to do? I mean, they're going to have to turn Auburn over. But overall, I just don't see
they're going to have to do the
at
same
all.
thing they did against Georgia, but on a whole nother level.
Well,
against Georgia, they didn't make mistakes, and they just took what Georgia gave them. They didn't force things. They didn't try and do anything. They just took what Georgia gave them, and they let Georgia make the mistakes. Thing is, Auburn doesn't make mistakes.
Very rarely, yeah.
No,
very few turnovers.
They don't get penalties. Best in the SEC and probably one in the top 5 in the country in penalty yards a game against them. But they was 2 for 20 against, or 2 for 30. No, 3 for 30 against Ole Miss. So I don't see Auburn beating themselves in penalties. Auburn doesn't turn the football over. If you count Shaun White's 4th down throw against Clemson in the red zone, where it was like, I got to throw the ball and make a play or turn it over. I had to do something. That was intercepted, and then the ball that came off Tony Stevens' hands that was intercepted. Outside of those, he has 0 interceptions in the game on the season.
It's amazing.
He does not turn the ball over, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's only got 2 interceptions going into the Iron Bowl.
It would be.
I mean, do you see him
Vanderbilt's front 7 is very good, but their secondary can be tested.
Vanderbilt, they're 7th in the SEC in rushing, they're 12th in passing, they're 7th in total defense, and they're 7th in scoring. They're average in the rushing game, and they're not so great in passing. You could see Auburn maybe open it up a little bit here, give their running backs maybe a little bit of a rest. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't try and change anything from what you've been doing.
Yeah, they've been rocking it, no doubt. 25.5 points favorites.
I don't think it's. I think it's more of a 17-point win, 35-14.
Okay. I can roll with that. All right, Alabama LSU game of the week. Alabama favored by 7.5, a microscopic amount when you consider how highly favored they were over not only Tennessee but Texas A&M as well. Now coming off of bye week, Alabama fresh. You lost Eddie Jackson, huge loss, especially against those very streaky LSU receivers who have now been re-energized by this offense being opened back up. I think if there's a game for Alabama to slip up, it is this one.
I think
and a game for Jalen Hurts, more importantly, because I think he holds the keys.
It's going to come over to the penalty game and turnovers. And Alabama, at times this year, has been a little undisciplined on the football team and had penalties. And they have slipped up and turned the football over a little bit. Jalen Hurts has played very well, but he has had his moments at the same time. It's just all the pieces around him are so good.
Can LSU even protect Etling?
Yes, but it's got to be the perfect play calling game. And like I said, I think it's going to be just like the game of the century a couple years ago. It's going to be a 9-6 type of game, I think.
If it turns into a field goal, if it turns into a field goal contest, Alabama fans are not comfortable with that.
Listen to this: Alabama second.
Adam Griffith.
Alabama second in the SEC in rushing. LSU third in the SEC in rushing defense. No, my bad. Alabama second in the SEC in rushing offense. LSU second in the SEC in rushing defense. Alabama fifth in the SEC in passing offense. LSU sixth in the SEC in passing defense. Alabama third in the SEC in total offense. LSU third in the SEC in total defense. Alabama first in the SEC in scoring offense. LSU third. So Alabama's a little bit better, but that's almost.
Boy.
People always try and compare. Oh, look at their passing game to their passing game. Why are you trying to compare their passing game to their passing game?
They're not playing each other.
They're not playing. It's almost. Yep. I want to look at the offense. I mean, well, we know what you look at offense. Bama's going to dominate in the defensive categories there. Yeah. But if LSU can stop Alabama's offense.
And Fournette has to have a big game. Not just running the ball. He has to find a way to be effective in the passing game and get guys off that line.
They got to play Darius Geis and Fournette on the field at the same time.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Just put all your playmakers out there. You got to give Etling so many options in this game because Bama's players are going to be coming from everywhere.
Geis is a little better in the passing game as a running back than Fournette. You got to put Geis and use Geis like Auburn's been using Kerryon Johnson and use Fournette like Auburn's been using Petway.
No doubt. All right. Ohio State's got to play Nebraska. I'm going to give the edge to Ohio State because they know that they lose here, it's over. But the same deal is true of Nebraska. So, but I'm going to go with Urban Meyer. I'm really just going to go with Urban Meyer.
Mike Riley, that's the Oregon State coach's name.
Okay.
That's at Nebraska now.
Okay.
Mike Riley.
Got it.
I knew it.
See, and that's why Oregon State is so bad this year. They're awful. They're one of the worst teams in the Pac-12.
I love that. People thought that was an average hire. I love that hire, Mike Riley at Nebraska.
Nailed it.
I like Ohio State in that game.
Yeah, I do too, but not by much. I think Nebraska will hang in there. In the SEC, my laptop has died, so.
Georgia at Kentucky.
What do we have? Georgia, Kentucky. Ooh,
7:30 at night.
Boy, what do the numbers say?
I don't know what the numbers say, but I like Kentucky.
Yeah, I do too, but the numbers do say that Georgia would beat Kentucky.
Texas A&M.
Even at Kentucky.
Texas A&M at Mississippi State. I like A&M. Missouri at South Carolina. Taking South Carolina. Florida at Arkansas. I got to check the numbers, but I'm liking Florida. But folks, thanks for joining us tonight on our Halloween show. It was awesome. Guys, use the game. Don't let the game use you. Seth will see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
I won't be here.
Later.